Good evening. The Who's today in Sydney were on at out in Warwick Farm, out at Warwick Farm. A very small crowd. Very few punters to be seen at Warwick Farm today. It was stagnant in the betting ring, which I suppose with the winter looming is going to be the norm. Anyway, the track today was given out good. It was good. The rail was 5 metres out from the 1,000 to the post and 3 metres the remainder. There was a bit of a north-easterly come up for the last three races. It didn't have any effect on any of the results, but the track definitely played up near the lead. All of the winners were up near the lead today. Plenty of leaders, a good few leaders winning, and other runners sitting either very handy or just behind the lead on the pace. And this was the case in the first race. The firmer in the market, the big firmer in the market, got the chocolates here. Romantic Touch, trained by Gay, ridden by the pumper. It went straight to the lead. Went straight to the lead today, Romantic Touch, and the pumper with those great hands of his. He let this two-year-old, I should say, run along down the side, and at one stage he got a good break of maybe 4 lengths, at least 3, on the favourite Diva D. Always, and when they got to the 600 metre mark, Diva D was off a bit, and the pumper kept this runner going, Romantic Touch, and he finished up winning by 2 lengths. And as I say, he was the firmer in the race. We put them up $2.80 Romantic Touch, and odds on Diva D $1.80. Take your 5 to 4 and 7 to 4 bar it. I did see $3 about the winner on the fence, and it was snapped up, and the 290, the 280, the 270, the 260, the 250, and even at one stage the 240 could have even been taken, whereas the opening favourite Diva D, it was a 5 to 4 on chance out to as much as 11 to 8, if not a little bit more, 235. Same thing, and it came back into, it was 225 when they jumped on my board, and so they started 5 to 4 and 11 to 8, and they ran the Quinella. But as I say, it went straight to the lead, and the pumper kept it going, and it was the place to be up near the lead. Similarly, in race 2, although this winner, Menenko, they did say, the announcement came over that it was going to be ridden back. Well, it only got as far back as third. Looking at the two leaders, leading in this race was Howdar. On its outside was Loyalist, and the winner eased in behind them, not pulling its head off, but getting slightly checked, getting a posse just in behind the pace, and it didn't get back as far as everybody thought. Well, thought it was, you go back, but it didn't. It only sat third, and it was very well backed. Menenko, it was, we put it up about a $9 chance, an 8 to 1 pop. It got out to as much as $12, 11 to 1, but it only started $8.50. So it was 11s into 15 to 2 during the betting, and it was able to beat the runner that sat outside the lead, Loyalist, which would have been a great result for the captains, because it was $10 or $11 out to as much as 15, and I don't think many captains would have put its name in the ledger. There are a couple of other runners backed, and they were number 9, which started the $4 favourite. It missed a kick and copped a bit of a prat in the run, Mesmerizer, and there are a couple of other runners that copped a little bit of interference. but not enough to say they were good things beaten. And as I say, up near the lead, the winner only sitting third, the second horse sitting outside the lead, started to look well. It was only race 2. You couldn't really put it down to a leader's track. But then we got to race 3, the distance race, and it was always handy. This favourite, Mulliquin, it has won by the proverbial inch margin from the $31 chance Dawn Fire Dancer, which would have been a marvellous result for the captains. It went from $16 or $15 out to 31. They just get quickly going back to race 1. On the screen in race 1, they said there was 105.8, but we only got 99 in the marketplace. Well, you didn't see the $3 for a start, the winner. In the second race, they said there was a fat 112.4, but there was only about 104.5. And one difference I can see straight away is with number 4, Victorious. Well, they said the best luck was $10. Well, it was $17 and $16, Victorious. And there were a few others, so there was about 8% difference there. And we got to this third race, they said there was 106.9, and that was about right. There might have been 1 or 2 less in the marketplace. $1.90 was the best price, the favourite. Started at $1.85. It's finished up getting the biscuits. After doing a little bit of work to lead in the race halfway to London, it crossed. Well, it couldn't get across. Here's George, who kept on kicking up on the inside of it. And looking at the pair all this time was the favourite, with horseman Huey Bowman aboard. And he had a little, when there were a couple of runs made coming to the turn from Emeritus. It made a bit of a burst. It went up, and Huey had a little bit of horse underneath him, and he went up and joined the leaders. And when they turned for home, he just had that little bit up his sleeve where he was able to kick and get a length and a half at least break, if not a little bit more, and that was enough to get him home, coming from back on the fence at one stage, coming wide on the turn. Was the second horse, Dawn Fire Dancer, and it's failed by a very, very short margin to give the captains a huge result in the race. The favourite getting the money. Race 4, they said there was only 100.1 on the screen, and there were a couple less in the marketplace. For instance, Impetuous, well, there was plenty of $5 about Impetuous, only started $4.60. And this was this winner, they must have juried by now, after watching the first 3 races, that possibly up near the lead was the place to be, and it was hard to make up ground down the outside. And it looked the leader, or one of the leaders at least, in the race, and that was hard to find the runner that had a very easy win in a maiden at Wyong last start. And it found the bunny with the 200 to 1 chance, 300 to 1 chance, 300 to 1 chance Star Secret on the south side. And when they turned for home, ridden by Bold Blake Shin, it was able to get a break, maybe a 2-length break from the rest of the field. Sitting in about 5th position, off the fence, was the second horse, La Pieta, and it failed, very similar to the race prior, to grab the very well backed, hard to find on the line, and only failing by a very, very slender margin. And the favourite, who sat 4th on the fence, Breakfast in Bed, it finished up running 3rd. The margins were 0.1 by 1.1 lengths, and the two best back runners ran 1-2 here. Ran 1-3, and they were the favourite, Breakfast in Bed. We put it up a 9 to 4 chance, about $3.20. Got out to as much as $3.70. It only started $2.70 or $2.80. $2.70 was about the price of hard to find at the death. But the winner, Breakfast in Bed, but the winner, hard to find, $9.50 early given, and it flucked in and out. It was $9.50 into as little as $7 at one stage, but then got back out to at least $8, if not or $8.50, a 15 to 2 chance. But it was poleaxed at the finish, and they how much you even at $6.50 starting, $6 only. And as I said, it led, and that was the place to be as it turned out, and it was able to just hang on and beat La Pieta, who would have, even though it was a $7 chance, La Pieta, it would have been a great result for the bookies. It was backed impetuous, went up, we only put it up with a $4 chance, got out to $5. It was back into $4.40, but got back out to $5, but then back into $4.40 towards the end of betting. And there were quite a lot of runners in that race that were very hard to lay. The noticeable big drifter in the race was Fulminate, which went from about an $8 chance out to as much as $17. The figures were very, very skinny. Losing figures were given. The fifth race, they said on the screen there was 105.2, maybe 3 less than the marketplace, only about 102%. And this was another very, very close finish with the favourite. There was just 3 1-inch margins in races 3, 4 and 5. The favourite, Chewy Chop, who had barrier 1, it hunted up on the inside and led and held out Red Excitement, and who finished up running 4th. And coming from back in the field was Bridge Too Far, so its run was most probably not bad to make up ground, and it failed by a very, very slender margin. They had a look at the connections of the second horse, wanted to have a look at the photo, but it was proven the judge was right, and it was a very, very slender margin. As I say, you couldn't really tell looking even at the freeze frame because you didn't know where the outside camera was. But as it turned out, for the Grumble and Grunters, the very, very late, well-backed favourite, Chewy Chop, got the biscuits. We put it up a $3 chance, and it was reached for out to as much as $3.70, $3.80 given, but it only started a $3 chance. It came back into its opening quote, and as I say, it led, and that was the place to be as it turned out. Repeating myself, it came from well back, Bridge Too Far, $7.50 into $7 one stage. We got back out to $7.50 at the finish. Red Excitement, it was well backed, as much as $8 given, only started 6. And Cerberus, it was well backed, $9 given. Cerberus, number 3. It settled well back in the field, which wasn't the place to be, but it didn't make up that much ground. It is as much as $9 was given about Cerberus, only started a 9 to 2 chance, $5.50, and all of the others more or less got out in the market. And the favourite, it was a bad result for the captains. Race 6, they said there was 105.2 on the screen, and similar to the previous race, maybe 2 or 3 less in the marketplace. With a couple of the roughies, they were a bit longer than what you saw on the screen. And there was a very well-backed runner in this race. It was number 6, Nat King Chu. Of course, this was the race for apprentice riders only, and the winner was given and I must say, a very, very good result for the captains. I'm talking about Cradle Me. But going back to King Nat King Chu, we put it up a 9 to 2 chance, got out to $6. It only started $3.80, so it was 5s to 11 to 4. Very, very well back. It started only second favourite. The opening favourite, we put it up a $4 chance, 8 straight. There was plenty of $4 given. The best you've seen in the flux was only $4. Plenty of $4.40 given, $4.20. You might have even been able to get $4.40, but it only started about the $3.60, 50 mark starting favourite, and it got back a bit in the field, and it finished up getting beaten about 4.5 lengths, and tightened up, but it wasn't the place to be back in the field. The winner of this race, well, Nat King Chu for starting, had barrier 2, and the winner, Cradle Me, it had barrier 1. Well, Cradle Me generally gets back in its races. Of course, it was trying the 1,400 metres today for the first time, or it might have been run a 40 minute, I'm not too sure. I don't think it had been in a 1,400 metre race before, but tested out today, and it had barrier 1. I did think that Nat King Chu would have been in front of it, but unfortunately for Nat King Chu, all the money went on board. It missed the kick by a good 2 lengths, and I thought it might have been in front of Cradle Me, and Cradle Me would have had to come off its back. Not that I think even if it would have jumped Nat King Choo, it wouldn't have beat the winner because it has won by 3.5 lengths. But it was up nice and close. Instead of getting back in the field from the inside alley, Cradle Me, it sat it punched up and sat right behind the leader on the fence. Had given a good run and got inside the leader, who was Speed Queen, who caused a bit of interference, and Sean Disneyland, whatever his name is, Sean Lindsay, he'll come back a greyhound. He leads on everything. He caused a little bit of interference, and he copped a little bit of a holiday, unfortunately for him. But the winner, as I say, Cradle Me, it was able to get inside him, turning for home, and ridden by the very capable Miss C. Vanderworth. She got inside him, and it ran right away, Cradle Me, winning by 3.5 lengths. There were a few runners in that race that were trapped wide. I haven't dissected it. Mount Verde was one, and there were a few other runners that got trapped wide in that run. The winner got a charmer, and again, not too far from the lead. And then we came to the last, and who won it? The leader, Morocco. And this was a huge result for the captains, I must say. This horse didn't have a price. It took out a few thousand with me, but it didn't have a price, more or less. It opened up a 5-2 chance. They returned it $7, 6-1. I was $8 when they jumped and not able to lay it. It went from 5-2 to 7s, and it led. And sitting on its outside, well, first of all, in this race, 107.3 on the screen, a good 5% less in the marketplace. The winner, for instance, was $8, not $7, about 102.5 only, and as much as 7-4, $2.70 was given about the favourite, who had every possible chance. It only started $2.10. That's She's a Stalker, and it was really, really well backed for whatever you wanted at the finish at $2.20. They'd kill you for it. But going back to how the race was run, Gasquet, it led on its outside, Mighty Obvious. Tucked up right behind them from barrier 3 was the favourite, She's a Stalker. There was plenty of room for She's a Stalker to get inside the winner when they turned for home, but it wasn't able to. Finish up running second, beaten about 3/4 of a length, a half a length. And the runner that sat in the 1-1 position, Garidian, it finished up running third, and running on from back in the field was Next to the Universe, it running fourth, only beaten about, I suppose, length and a half or so. As I say, it was the best back run of the favourite, had every possible chance. The winner, of course, up near the lead. It led. That was the place, as it turned out to be, at Warwick Farm today. Hard to make up ground, and that was about the meeting. It was very ocean when it came to just the usual suspects who turned up to play. There was very little section there, a few captains missing, well, we've got to do our best to keep the marketplace as vibrant as we can. That's where the best value is. If you're punting anywhere, try and open my numbers on my website. Open up an account with me. You'll get great value because we bet top odds. The bookies on course bet the best prices that are given anywhere. So if you did bet today, hope you had some luck. Good evening.